Doug Farrar. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I partner with the Juice Plus company, and one of our products is the Tower Garden. We're going to be talking about gardening today on the Tower Garden. You're going to learn what the Tower Garden is, how it works, what you can grow, getting some little tips. We're going to give you a tour of our Tower Gardens. And I have two awesome guys with me today. I have Steve Lepicki. Hello, Steve.
Hey,
Steve's
Craig.
up in New Jersey.
Hey,
Go ahead,
Craig. How
Steve.
are you? I'm Steve Lepicki. I live in New Jersey, where it's currently like 35 this morning. So I am definitely jealous of all of you down there in Florida right now.
Oh yeah, we're loving it. We're loving it. But you see Steve's background right now, you know it's going to be a good tour of his towers. I got to tell you, I logged on today. I'm like, oh man, I got to show my tower. I'm with this guy. Okay, but I'll give you a different perspective. And we have Kraig. Oh, by the way, Steve is an endurance athlete and an all-around awesome guy, and he's a really great grower. And we also have Kraig Radisi down in Satellite Beach, Cocoa Beach, Florida. Say hey, Kraig.
Hey everybody, happy to be here. I love these towers. So I got a Christmas tree behind me. That's not on a tower, but I'll be able to show mine pretty soon. But yeah, I'm in Central Florida on the East Coast, where it's hot in the summer, mild winters, but we grow all year long and it's great.
Yes, and Kraig, when you're talking, if you can find a way to squeeze in somebody that I know is on here has already asked me a question that we'll try to answer. And they were wondering where to get seeds. They're not finding, but don't answer it now. You can save it for later. But try to work in some of your favorite places to get seeds and stuff.
Seeds, no problem.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, again, my name's Doug Farrar, and welcome. And first thing we want to talk about is just like, why would we be growing? You know, and one of the reasons is our current state of food, guys. I mean, I don't know if it's happened to you, but for me, I became much more aware of this, as you probably did, when the pandemic started. And we go to our grocery stores and the shelves, sometimes you couldn't find lettuce. You know, sometimes you couldn't find things you want in the grocery store. And sometimes there's food scarcity. Also, depending on where you live and where you buy your food, sometimes that food has come from a very long way and it was picked a very long time ago. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later. So we want to make sure that we have food available, and that gives you some comfort and security, knowing that your food is available because it's right here in your backyard if you're growing it. And the other thing is the quality of your food. You know, when was it picked? Who handled it? How was it processed? What did they spray on that food to make it look good? How are they keeping it looking good for so long when it's been on a truck or a ship for a couple of weeks, right? So these are things we need to worry about. And then there's the health aspect of it. You know, we try and buy good, healthy food. Not everybody has access. I know my mom's visiting me right now from North Carolina, and she mentioned she wishes she had like a Fresh Market or a Whole Foods or something like that, but she doesn't live in an area that has that kind of a grocery store. So she's kind of stuck buying whatever they kind of give to her in her local grocery store, Food Line or whatever. So, you know, the health of the food. And then whether you buy organic, even if you're buying it organic, you don't really know what's going on. I know that that's a certain certification, but what about like spray from fields that are next to the organic fields? What about, I mean, there's so many things, you know, that you just got to wonder about. So as a result, a lot of people are starting to grow their own food and people are getting more and more interested in that. And that's why we're really excited at the Juice Plus company, because we have the Tower Garden as a solution. Now there's several different other solutions you could do to grow your own food, and even some of us grow food different ways. But the Tower Garden, we found it to just be an incredible product, an incredible way to grow food easily and conveniently, and it's really fun. So I'm going to throw it over to Kraig, and he's going to kind of explain what the Tower Garden is and what you can grow on your Tower Garden. Kraig, take it away.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Doug. Those are all excellent points, and very frustrating buying the food in the store. So we do love this way of growing our own and controlling our own food source. So I am going to, instead of me explaining what the Tower Garden is, I am going to show a video. I can share my screen. I'll show a 2-minute video here for you, and it'll explain and show exactly what the tower is. It's really good. hold on a second. Sorry. I share screen. Okay, here we go.
That's fine. Hey guys, if you're hopping on, let us know where you're from and what you love to grow or what you would love to grow.
All right, here we go, guys. I think I'm all set.
Tower Garden's state-of-the-art aeroponic vertical garden system uses both water and air to produce more colorful, better tasting, and incredibly nutritious fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Tower Garden has a 20-gallon reservoir at its base that stores the Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Developed by experts in plant and human nutrition, Tower Tonic Mineral Blend enables superior plant growth and better nutrition from your Tower Garden produce. The process begins once the seedlings have been placed in your Tower Garden. Here they will be nourished with Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Inside the reservoir is a small, low-wattage submersible pump. The pump pushes the nutrient solution up through the tower to the top. From there, the nutrient solution drips through the central tower using a special device that evenly cascades the solution over the exposed plant roots. On the journey down the tower, the nutrient solution feeds the roots and becomes highly oxygenated as it cascades gently down the reservoir. This process is continuous, providing fresh oxygen, water, and nutrients to the roots of the plants. This patented aeroponic process enables food crops to grow faster than they would in soil, so they can be harvested more often. And it makes Tower Garden the healthier, easier, smarter way to grow your produce.
All right, so yeah, I love that video. I mean, it shows at the beginning how fast things grow, and you're going to see my towers when I go out there later. I planted them a month ago, and you'll see how large they are. It does really grow food a lot quicker. So let me cover some other points here. What I like here. So benefits of the Tower Garden. And this is compared to dirt gardening, traditional gardening. It's something I've done my entire adult life. And then these Tower Gardens came out 11, 12 years ago, and I bought 2 right away. And I've used them ever since and still haven't gone back to dirt gardening. So as you saw, it's aeroponic and there's no dirt, which helps with weeds. Obviously, there's no weeds to pull. It also helps with diseases such as fungus and molds. There's almost, I say less chance, there's almost no chance. I haven't had many molds and funguses at all, which come from a dirt. And then also pests. A lot of the pests that eat up the vegetables and the leaves come from the dirt itself. Now, we have less pests, and I'd recommend, throughout the entire country, wherever you're at, we all have different pests. So you just check locally, your local garden clubs or even nurseries around you to how to maintain or get rid of the pests. It's on a timer, has a submersible pump in the bottom, as you saw, and it waters itself 24 hours a day. And here in Florida, in the heat, or if you're in, anywhere in the South, that's a huge benefit, because my dirt gardens, wow, I've always had trouble watering because it's just so hot and humid, and then consistent watering. I never had it on a timer or anything like this. So that's a big deal. Then also with dirt gardens, I never tested the pH. I know there's kits you can do, but I've learned how important it is to test and maintain and balance the pH. And with this Tower Garden, as you'll see in a little bit, that it actually comes with a pH test kit, and it's very easy to test it once a week and make sure it's balanced. But then another huge benefit for a lot of people is it's vertical. So no back breaking, bending over, tilling in the dirt and working in the dirt, which benefits a lot of people, so we can stand or sit. I had a friend a few years back who was bound to a wheelchair, and he loved gardening, but he couldn't garden, and he had a patio. And then he found these, we talked about it, and he bought one right away. So it's so easy for him to wheel up to the tower and garden. And I love his love of gardening came back. So let's talk about a little bit what you can and can't grow on our towers. First of all, let me start with what you can't grow. You can't grow trees, obviously. You can't grow root vegetables such as carrots or potatoes. And you can't grow bushes like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. Those bushes, they're just a little bit too big for our towers. But let me show what we can grow. So this one here is a lot of leafy greens, kales, lettuces. There's even some herbs in there, chard. So greens do great, all herbs do great. So this is a juicing tower, so you can actually theme your towers, which you'll see here. This is not mine, but there's a couple others later that I've themed that I love theming. So this one here shows even some greens, but also in the forefront, this closer one shows tomatoes, which grow great, especially outside, outdoors in the sun. And then behind that is squash and zucchini, which is something I love to grow. And I will show you why. These are not my towers, but I've grown them over the years. So here's a great example of a squash or a zucchini that we grew. The one on the right is store-bought, your standard store-bought zucchini, and the pen is for just comparison in size. The one on the left is the one we grew. And a lot of people believe, which is true traditionally, I guess, that when you get a large, if you let your zucchini or squash grow that large, it kind of dries out. But when that's not the case with this system, with these towers. That is the juiciest, moist, and healthiest, most flavorful squash zucchini we've ever grown. We grow them that size all the time, and they are not dry at all because it's 24 hours of watering and they get plenty of hydration. So let's see. So a couple of these are my towers. So years ago, I did an entire strawberry patch. So it's a modern day strawberry patch. And this is one of my favorites, is a tomato tower. And it's tomatoes come in determinate or indeterminate. So you don't want, well, okay, you can grow either on the towers. These are the bushes. They only get 16 to 18 inches tall. And it's the tiny Tim variety and grows a massive amount of tomatoes. That colander on the bottom, there's 5 pounds of tomatoes I picked. And I just picked half of the tower. And so it grows a lot. And actually I'm growing one again right now. I'll show you in a little while. It's not quite that old. So this is a friend of ours who likes to juice celery. So she did an entire tower of celery. And then if you want something beautiful, these are edible flowers, a lot of these. The purple are kale. So it's a very great looking tower and useful because you can eat and enjoy it. So there's basically 2 models. We have the Tower Garden Home, which is here on the left, and then the Tower Garden Flex on the right. And I just like showing this kind of comparison. They both can be take the lights. The home is primarily for indoors. It's a little more maintenance when it's outdoors. It's a 13-gallon tub on the bottom. The Flex is flexible for indoors or outdoors, and that just makes it a lot easier outdoors to use. You can bring it inside in the winters if you're up north and put lights on. Same lights fit it. The primary difference here, you can see, is the base. So it's 13 gallons versus 20 gallons. And this is ours, our indoor home. We had actually grew, I'm going to show you on the right, on the bottom is tomatoes. And then we got some broccoli and cauliflower on the bottom. And then a lot of leafy greens and spinach and chard and lettuces. So yeah, so that's a lot of what you can and can't grow on the towers. And I'll stop my share.
I love it. I love it. Thanks, Kraig. And I always appreciate the variety of things that you tend to grow at your house. I mean, you probably noticed over the years, I'm pretty much always lettuce and kale. That's it for me. Lettuce, kale, a few herbs, maybe some tomatoes, but you have like experimented with just like everything. Now, there were some questions in the chat, and I think some of those may have even gotten answered. Somebody was asking why their blueberries aren't growing very fast, and Kraig was not recommending we grow blueberries on the tower, but strawberries was the other part of that question from somebody, and those do rather well. So let's see. All right. Well, we're gonna.
I'll comment on. Yeah, I have grown blueberries up in years ago, not in the towers, and I believe blueberries might take a couple years before a year before they start producing. But by then, it's a really large bush, so it might be a little bit of trouble in the tower. I've never known anybody to grow it. I mean, I'm like you said, I experiment. I might try it someday. But strawberries grow great.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can grow. So I mean, I think one of the things that I've learned is like just to be experimental and have fun with it. And I've settled on what I love to grow based on what I love to eat. You know what I mean? But other people are more experimental and they want to keep experimenting. Well, we're going to learn a little bit more about the science behind the tower garden. So let me throw it over to Steve, and he's going to talk a little bit about that.
All right, thanks, Doug. I am just going to share my screen here in a moment, and we can kind of go over some of the science and some of the really cool stuff that, the reason the tower garden grows the way that it does. I'm assuming you all can see my screen now. So let me go back to this. So the best part about the tower garden, and probably the easiest part of the tower garden regarding the science behind it, is that it requires 90% less space. You're going to be far more efficient using a tower garden. You're going to get 30% more yield over traditional dirt gardening in 3 times faster. And really, that's been the greatest benefit for us and my family with the science here. We have been able to go from outdoor towers, tear them down, clean them, plant seedlings, and have them growing to something like we have behind me here in a matter of weeks, which means that really we always have, that fresh supply of food. But really where the science starts to come in is that, unfortunately, our food quality is just terrible. We are picking food far before the peak of ripeness so that you can get that food from, whatever country it's grown in, travel thousands of miles so that you can have it set up in your grocery stores. And every day between picking to you buying, your food is losing nutrient value. So right now, the average person has to eat somewhere between, 10 to 12 servings of fruits and veggies a day. As an endurance athlete, I need to eat 18 to 20. And those are based on the old numbers in the 80s and off of the nutrient value of the food in the 80s and the 90s. So with the decreasing nutrient value as we move forward, I'm going to have to eventually just eat like this entire tower if I was to go to, the food store every day. So it's really the nutrient value that we are getting is incredibly important. Also, these fruits and veggies, as you can see on my slide, compared dirt to tower garden, are growing significantly faster. They're growing larger and they're growing stronger. And the reason for that is that the 17 nutrients that are in our tower garden tonic are the nutrients that are needed just for the plants that you're growing. When you're growing into dirt, you're not necessarily getting all the nutrients you need. You need to add extra nutrients. You need to add fertilizers, which may make your garden no longer organic, which is incredibly important. To me, at least, we want to make sure we're growing organically. So our tower gardens and the nutrients that the tower garden company provides are completely organic. And it's also dirt gardening. You're dependent upon, the rain if you're not watering enough. Here, the water usage is significantly less. And so those are some of the, the science points that we're found most impactful for my family. So now, where can you grow? You can literally grow one of these anywhere. There's a picture of one on a patio. Chicago O'Hare Airport has these growing in their terminals. If you've ever been to Epcot and you go through that, the tours there, they'll show you their tower gardens. The Giants are growing tower gardens in their ballpark. The Yankees just started growing tower gardens there. These tower gardens are showing up everywhere. We've seen them in restaurants, other people's homes, and also large public areas like this. And so where have I grown? The picture on the left, top left, to me at least, probably top right to you, is our first tower garden in a parking lot at our first apartment. That tower garden almost froze while we were on our honeymoon, and we pulled it inside to our garage. So we've grown outside in a parking lot, we've grown in the garage. The tower gardens have been in our offices. We have 2 tower gardens in the summer here outside. And then probably my favorite photo is that last one. That's my house last year at Christmas, and you can almost see the Christmas lights, but the UFO looking lights are these lights behind us. And so we're now growing 3 towers inside, which has been incredible to be able to go and pick fruits and veggies from our gardens every day. And even coming home late from work, I'm able to put together a salad or something healthy for us incredibly quickly.
That is awesome. Thanks, Steve. That is super. And we'll see those tower gardens up close in just a minute. You know, another place that I've seen the tower gardens, and maybe some of you guys, your kids may have some familiarity with them, as might be at their schools. We see them a lot in schools. I've put them in a lot of schools, the Boys and Girls Clubs. But even in the Call of Duty 3 Modern Warfare video game, there's actually tower gardens in the video game. I got a screenshot of that somewhere. So that's super cool. Well, I can't take it anymore. Let's get some towers going. I'm going to go first. And if you can spotlight me, let me go forward. Okay, there we go. I'm going to start off with like how I grow. And I got Craig's putting some stuff into the chat. I know Melissa was wondering where we get our seeds. I like Johnny seeds a lot, and this is how I grow them. I get these big trays. Now I have 4 tower gardens. Right now I only have 1 because I just moved to a new home. But this is lettuce and kale, different types of lettuce. Some we like to grow basil and tarragon. So we make pesto. I make salad dressings. But this is actually what the tower grows in. And look, don't worry about being so perfect. Look at this. It's not even growing. It's not going to make it, this one here, but that's okay. But this, because you grow extras, whatever, big deal. This is rock wool. It's spun volcanic material. So there's no dirt. And this is actually what they grow in. And then I got this cilantro. My wife did a reel on Facebook yesterday, and I think she damaged this plant a little bit. So I'll just damage it a little bit more by pulling it out harshly. And look, it grows right inside the rock wool, and the roots just hang down. So now, as Craig showed earlier, as the water drips from, it gets pumped from the base up to the top, it drips down over these roots, and that thing goes on and off with a timer every 15 minutes. And the roots get air, they get the nutrients, everybody's happy. So as you see, I love to grow kales and lettuces, and this is arugula. And I got a little baby jalapeno. Look at this little jalapeno coming in here. Oh yeah, we're gonna make some salsa. This is my tarragon for my salad dressings I like to make. And the last thing I want to show you, because I want to get to these other guys' towers, because theirs are really incredible. I'm growing outside. I put it in full sun. But watch this. If I were to, like, let's say I'm gonna make a salad. Here's some romaine right here. Now, a lot of times when you go to the grocery store, you buy a head of romaine, you cut it up, you use it, and you're done. Well, you don't rip off your whole head of lettuce in a tower garden. I would literally just take a few pieces. I'm gonna have a little salad before I get on the road, going to Daytona with the family today. And look, I go to my different plants and I just pull some lettuce leaves off. And before you know it, you have plenty to make a salad. Oh, look, there's a bee. He says, hey, I want to pollinate. That's pretty cool. So look, you can't even tell that I took anything off of this thing. So it's almost overwhelming, like how much food you can grow on the tower garden. It's literally amazing. So, I mean, I just can't believe it. It's I feel like I'm growing money, and Craig's going to talk about how much it costs to get a tower garden. But once you invest in it, it just keeps on giving and giving and giving to you. So I'm going to throw you guys over to Craig, who's going to show you what he's got going on right now. Let's spotlight Craig.
Great. Thanks, Doug. I switched over to my phone, so hopefully you guys can find me and I show up. But we just moved a month ago. So these towers, I have 2 of them growing, and they're a little young. These are only a month old.
Craig, give me 1 minute here. I got to find you on the phone here.
Yeah, no problem. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you. I just,
yeah.
With so many people on here right now, we got to relocate where you are.
Oh, no. I'm showing
hey,
I got you now.
Hey, well,
very good.
Okay.
So once he pulls me up, you'll see the one on the left is all greens and herbs. So my wife got a hold of my ordering, and there's a lot of things on here that are growing that I don't even know. So I'm just going to read them. I've never done this before, but we're growing a lot of the flower plants here on the bottom. We got some nasturtium. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. It's dark on my phone. Let me see. I don't know. We have Cosmo Dwarf. We have lavender. I know that little guy's lavender because it does take a little long to grow. I mean, it's a little slower grower, but it'll do great. Beneficial insect attractant, which I'm not sure which one that is. These 2 little ones here. And then violas. So those are the flowers along the bottom. And then a lot of lettuces. So this lettuce right here, since I'm in Florida, we have our hardest season we just ended. So we're coming up on our easiest season to grow. So this lettuce is the Magenta Summer Crisp, and I grow it year round. In the summer months when it's 90+ degrees, that's the only lettuce I like growing. It grows great. It's a little thicker leaf. It tastes great, high nutrition value, and it just grows all summer. So all year long. This one here is called Spiros, I think it is. I got that from True Garden out Skyphos, excuse me. Got that from as a seedling from True Garden. I think this whole tower I actually ordered as seedlings a month ago from True Garden in Phoenix, Arizona. They shipped them within a couple days, and obviously they did well. And I put that in the chat. I order from livingtowers.com, Living Tower Seedlings, which is in Key West now, or the Keys of Florida, and then also True Garden. However, there are tower farms all throughout the US that will ship seedlings. You just get online and order. So you can't go wrong with any of them. I've heard great things about all of them. I've never heard anything negative about any of them. So if you want to order something closer to you, you can get on the Tower Garden website and find that list of approved seedlings. So we got some herbs, I'm not sure. We got some parsley and cilantro, a little bit of kale, basil, which will do well for a little while. Basil doesn't like the cold weather, so once it cools down, I might lose them. So that's our leafy green herb. And then the other one is what I mentioned earlier, that it's a young tomato tower. So this is all Tiny Tim tomatoes. And it's only a month old, but they're still pretty good size, and they're actually growing the buds. The flowers are starting to come out and grow. So I'll have tomatoes probably another month from now. But one thing I wanted to point out, so a tower garden, that's the standard tower garden height. It's 5 sections, 20 ports. This one has an extension, so it's 2 more extensions on top. It's 28 ports. However, like this one, the 20 ports does not limit you to 20 plants. So you can see, I like to grow 2 tomato plants per port. You might be able to do 3. I just like to do 2. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, there's 2. I grew from seed, so I grew, I don't know, 4 or 5 seeds. I planted in there, and as they grew up to seedlings, I just trimmed it back to 2 plants. So this one, while it's 20 ports, I'm actually growing 40 tomato plants. So we are going to get a ton of tomatoes. So I think that's good for them, Doug.
Yes. Wow. That tomato tower. I remember when Kraig, I might drive down and get some this year. I mean, because there's no way you can eat all those tomatoes that you get.
Oh my gosh. We give them out to family and friends and neighbors. Yeah. Everybody. Yeah. And we dry them. We do everything. Make sauce, tomato. Yeah. So come on down. Stop on by. I got plenty. I'll have plenty.
All right, cool. Well, we got, Steve's going to show you the indoor towers. I know we have a lot of northern people right now, and you have no other option this time of year than to do exactly what Steve's doing. So Steve, show us what you got.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. So we have indoor towers now. Now these towers both go outdoors in the summer, but with living in New Jersey, it just got too cold too fast. So we brought these in probably in October. So what I'm going to start over here. We have some kale. As you can see, we have some chard that's now touching my roof. So we might need to eat some chard soon. But we just had chard for dinner last night, and it just continues to grow fantastic inside. My least favorite herb, cilantro, that's a natural Steve repellent. And then over on this tower, we're growing purple basil, we're growing more chard, we have celery, we have, if you can see it back here, if I move my chair, we have a cucumber plant. And Jesse loves to grow hot peppers. So we have a pepper plant here. And I can even show you guys recently, we grew this pepper, which is ridiculously hot. And this pepper, which is less hot. And so as Doug mentioned before, there are 2 versions of the tower gardens. These are both the Flex. And if you come with me now to my other tower garden, I'll show you guys what the home looks like. So this is a home tower garden. It's a little shorter than usual. There was an accident where I cracked one of these, but tower garden is fantastic. They're sending me a replacement. So this will be full size relatively soon. But these are all strawberries. So we're gonna have a full strawberry plant. And my wife does an amazing job of growing flowering plants. So like tomatoes, cucumbers, things that you might have trouble growing inside. And what she does is, because I know a lot of people have this trouble, she takes an electric toothbrush and she'll pollinate new flowers every morning. And I'm telling you, you have reached the peak of indoor gardening when I come downstairs from showering to go to work. And I see my wife here early in the morning with a cup of coffee, just pollinating away. And so that's how we grow tomatoes and cucumbers and other plants that, normally would need to be pollinated by bees inside. I know you also could use a fan, but we found that using a, electric toothbrush like this to be so much more efficient. So as Sony said, be the bee, just be the bee. So that's my tower garden, or my 3 tower gardens, Doug. And I'll pass this all back on here.
And I would say that, to have that's kind of next level, just so you guys know, because even for me to see that his wife is using the electric toothbrush, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's intense. So just know that, you can pretty much ignore and neglect these things and they still keep on growing most of the time. So it's really fun. It's very experimental. Don't ever think it's too hard. And we have an amazing community that will support you when you get your tower garden. We have a Facebook group that has thousands of people in it that you can ask questions and whatnot. So we're here to help you. And you know what? Maybe we'll do another one of these and every once in a while, and we can keep answering questions and keep teaching you guys. I think it's, I guess it's time. Let's talk about how do we get one of these? How much do they cost and all that kind of stuff? I think Craig's going to cover that for us. So Craig, let's hop over to you.
Oh yeah, great. Thanks, Doug. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen here also, but I'm sure some people who don't have towers, like, all right, guys, this is great, but how much does it cost? Well, this is something I love sharing. If I can share my screen. There we go. Just a second. Doesn't seem to be smooth. Okay, can you see my screen there?
We go. Yeah, we got you.
All right, so let's look at what the tower comes with. So when you buy the tower, like I showed you out there, the initial kit is 5 sections high. It's 20 ports. It comes with everything you need to get started. It comes with the pump and the timer, which you need, obviously. The pH test kit. I don't know if you can see my arrow. I'm kind of pointing them out. pH test kit with the balancing acid and base to raise it or lower it back to balance. You get the mineral blend, a quart of each, which will last a few months. It's all natural earth and sea minerals. So nothing synthetic, no synthetic fertilizers. And then everything you need to grow, including about a half dozen seed packets with the rock wool to grow those seeds. So you really don't need to order anything additional to get started, but you can. There's accessories that you can order. You can make it taller. You can add a dolly with this. This is the flex unit. I'll go ahead and show you the home unit in just a second. But first of all, the cost, which is, these things are amazing. You got to remember, you're not buying a fountain for your landscaping. I mean, it sounds like it, and it adds the noise, the nice sound, but these actually pay for themselves in no time. So this unit, the flex unit, is $620 if you pay it in full. I have 6 towers. I've had 2 of them since 2012 when they first came out. They've paid for themselves over and over and over, because you're not, like I said, you're not buying just something that's going to sit there. You're actually growing yourself food. These things produce an amazing amount of food, and you don't have to buy that in the store. And I'll show you what I'm talking about when it comes to the costs. Now, the company also makes it, $620 in full. That's easy for some people, but there's also, you have an option. If you don't want to put that money up front, our company allows you to spread that cost over 12 months interest-free, which works out to $51.67 per month for the tower. And then after a year, you don't have to, you're done paying for it. So that is the Flex, the Tower Garden Flex. And as I said before, it is, you can use it outdoors or indoors. It's flexible to move in and out. This is the Tower Garden Home. And the full unit that you see there comes with the lights so you can grow indoors. It also has a dolly. Basically, it's got the caster wheels built in. Whereas if you want to wheel the flex around, you have to, you would need to, it is an accessory to buy a dolly. You can buy the lights for the flex also. So we're looking at a cost for the Tower Garden home of only $970, because the light kit right there is $300. If you buy the flex and you want the lights, it's another $300. So very affordable, easy to do. And this one also you can pay over 12-month installments. It's only about $80, a little over $80 per month. So why do I think the cost is great, and I don't think it's that expensive, is there was a study done by Atlanta Urban Farms, which is a tower farm in Atlanta, obviously. It was done about 6 years ago, 2015. So they grew all of this produce on one tower over 6 months. Arugula, beans, bell peppers, they did everything, cabbage, lettuce, cucumbers, eggplant. They kept track of the quantity of how many and what the harvest of what over 6 months. Then they compared it to, they took prices of the then 2015 prices at the supermarket, non-organic prices. So if you only eat organic, you're spending a lot more. However, in addition, if you're eating non-organic, today you're spending a lot more than you did back in 2015, because prices have risen a lot above these. Over a 6-month period of what they grew and produced, it was equal to that yield. 6-month yield was equal to $796 if they had bought all that produce over 6 months in the supermarket. And the initial investment, as you've seen, you can see what the options are, that it paid for itself within 6 months. You're not going to grow all this your first 6 months, but within a year or so, when you get the hang of it, you can be growing like this easily, year after year after year. I've heard these haven't been out but 15 years or so, but they since it is a food grade plastic with a UV protectant mixed in chemically into the plastic, the UV protectant keeps it from breaking down, drying out. They project these should last a good 20 to 25 years. And I can say I've had mine, a couple of them now, for 12 years, and there is no drying out. They're still glossy and shiny as they ever were. And I believe they're going to last quite a while. So I just love the price that it is. And it's so affordable, and they make it even more affordable with the
That's super
12-month.
That's awesome, Kraig. Thanks for breaking that down in a way that's easy to understand. And I agree. I saw some comments coming through. Sony was saying how, we've been growing for like 10 years, 12 years, it seems. And it's paid for itself many times over. I always like to think I feel like I'm growing money. And then when I go into the grocery store and I see those pitiful looking little lettuces in there, I mean, man. And we didn't even talk about the taste, guys. The taste from the Tower Garden is superior. It's so much better. All right. Well, and Birdie had a question. I'm going to answer real quick. Birdie was asking, what are some of the best, things to grow in a cooler environment? Best foods. Well, I'll just say this. We could list a bunch of them, but what I like to do is like I said, I order from Johnny Seeds mostly, and I love the search feature. I think Seeds Now and others have this too, where you can search for different characteristics. Like, I want something that grows best in the winter. I want a lettuce that's hardy for Florida heat, so that's how I found the stuff that works good for me. And in the same way, you can search for cold weather at those seed places, and they'll steer you in the right direction. It just brings up only the seeds that are going to grow well. So, Steve, do you have anything else to add as we land the plane here? We're going to close it up, but I just want to give you an opportunity if you have anything to say.
No, I just want to thank everybody for joining us. And I did see a question in the chat that asked what the most foolproof plants to grow are. And in my house, particularly me, I kill any non-4-legged or 2-legged living thing. I cannot keep a plant alive. These tower gardens are so simple where it's almost set it and forget it. So unless you're looking at doing something like the cucumbers that might need to be pollinated, I would tell anybody just to try basically anything. They're all really amazing and easy to grow.
Yeah. Hey, Doug, I just want to add to that, Steve, that those are great points. I like to tell people, especially that have never gardened before and they want to get a tower garden, just start with leafy greens and some herbs. Just keep it simple for those first few months. And then once you're comfortable with how it works, testing the pH and have that comfort level, then add in the tomatoes and cucumbers and the vegetables.
And I've never left from the leafy stuff. I love it. I mean, I'm about to have a salad right now before I get on. I'm gonna have a breakfast salad, and it's gonna be awesome. Okay, guys. Well,
All right.
thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I hope this gave you some vision. Maybe you're not growing yet, and you just learned a little bit about growing. We'll try to do another one of these sometime coming up. Keep in touch with the person that invited you on, so you can catch some of this information. Maybe even be added to a Facebook group or something where you can learn more. Maybe you want to hop in and become a grower. I invite you to contact that person that invited you onto this Zoom. They can get you started. These things ship super quick. Actually, I just had a contest and gave one away, and somebody it shipped within like a day or two, and it's getting there in like within 5 days for sure. And they're going to be up and growing. And then if you're excited about this and and you're super excited and you want to share it with other people and say, oh my gosh, I got to tell my sister, my mom, my brother, everybody, then maybe talk to that person that invited you about joining us on our mission. We're trying to inspire healthy living around the world. We do that through a variety of ways. The Tower Garden is one of those. But if you join to be a partner with the Juice Plus company, that might be a good option for you too, if that's something you're passionate about. So talk to that person that invited you. We're so excited you came on today, and we hope you have an awesome weekend. Happy growing, and we'll talk to you guys later. Take care.
Thank you, everybody.
Guys.